Good late morning, guys. Greetings from Ocala, Florida. So I've throttled you with all these weird ideas about logic. I want to share a quick example of one of these laws in action, the law of identity. It removes a basic tenet of the most threatening worldview to Christianity, which is materialism. Now, here's how. Materialism says that there is no soul, there is no mind, there is only the brain. As a consequence, things like emotions, thoughts, consciousness aren't real. Christianity says not so fast. We obviously have brains, but we have also minds. We have a soul. The mind is not the same thing as the brain. But how do we know? Enter the law of identity. Remember, because the law of identity, we know that two things are identical if and only if everything true of one is true of the other. Everything. Well, is everything true of the mind true of the brain? Let's examine. The materialist says that thoughts are merely brain waves. Let's see if a brain wave is identical to a thought. I want you to think back to your favorite childhood doll, or if you're a fella, your favorite childhood action figure. Fix it in your mind. Put it out in front of you. Turn it over. Squeeze it. Smell it. Touch it. Can you picture it? Now, if I were to open up your noggin, would I find it there? The truth is, thoughts and brain waves have different properties, which is just a descriptor, a feature of it. They're not the same thing. As you were thinking about your favorite doll, you could feel the texture. There was a sensation. It had color. It had dimension. The brain waves that were happening simultaneously inside your head had none of those things. So clearly, whatever was true of the brainwave is not true of the thought. And the law of identity tells us then they're two separate things. And consequently, it shows that we do have a mind. The law of identity also tells us that the mind and the soul are the same thing. I'm using them interchangeably. But human beings have a soul. And if human beings have a soul, materialism is false. The idea that we are only brains with no minds is self-defeating in another way. Do you recognize the quicksand quotient?